Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all are doing fantastic today. And welcome to our presentation on Amtrak Vacations. We got a wonderful topic. We're going to be discussing some of Amtrak's most famous and iconic routes. This is part one of the famous iconic routes series. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Nick Bennell, and I have proudly been with Amtrak Vacations now for just a little bit under 7 years. I absolutely love being with Amtrak Vacations because I myself absolutely love train travel. I'm very passionate about it. I've done quite a bit extensively throughout the United States, throughout Canada, and all throughout Europe. So it's something I'm very excited about, and it's something I'm very excited to share a lot of this great information with you all today. We're going to have some fun with this. Before we do so, don't forget to download the handouts where that top arrow is pointing on the right-hand side of your GoToWebinar control panel. There should be 3 attachments. There should be one about the national parks. There should be one about the sleeping accommodations on Amtrak, and then there's also going to be one on our fall into savings sale, which started today. I'm really excited about, and I'm going to go over that in just a moment. As well as if you have any questions throughout today's presentation, do not hesitate to put those questions into the questions box, and I will be more than happy to answer any and all questions that you may have for me at the end of the session today. Now, I mentioned that fall into savings sale. What is that? Well, it started up today, and I can tell you today has been incredibly busy because of this savings. People are booking, and they're getting themselves some savings when they book. Essentially, if you want to book one of our vacation packages, if you upgrade to Roomette accommodations on the vacation package, you automatically get $200 off per couple. Or if you upgrade to the bedrooms, you automatically get $300 off per couple. Now, this promotion isn't going to be around for all too long. It's only good till next Friday, the 13th of September. So if you are trying to take one of our packages, or maybe you're trying to get a head start, maybe for the national parks in 2020, now is the great time to take advantage of it and save some money and take an incredible vacation package by train. So let's hop right into it and find out what makes Amtrak Vacations different. Well, there's several reasons for that. First and foremost, traveling by rail is a bucket list experience. In fact, we surveyed all of our travelers as to why they chose traveling with Amtrak and Amtrak Vacations. And the number one consensus answer we kept finding was that it was a bucket list trip. If you think about it, you probably have done an ocean cruise. You may have done an all-inclusive to Mexico or the Caribbean or to Hawaii. Maybe you've done an escorted tour through Europe or Asia. Maybe you've gone to Walt Disney World, and maybe just now you've conquered river cruising and you're looking for that next adventure. Something fun, something different, something unique. The rail can satisfy each and every single one of those needs. Freedom and flexibility. One of the best parts about our vacation packages is they operate almost on a daily basis. With just the exception of a few of our seasonal national parks, almost every single trip we offer runs daily, so you can truly travel when you want to travel. It's not like the cruise lines where there's select sailing dates or the escorted tours where there's select start dates. You can actually choose the dates that you want to travel. Hassle-free. Now, this is one of my favorite parts about our vacation packages, as our trips are really as hassle-free as possible. There's no reason for you to have to check in 24 hours ahead of time or show up 2 to 3 hours before your departure like you would with a flight. No. How does 45 minutes to an hour sound? I can tell you that is the average time people will typically show up prior to the Amtrak departure, truly making it as hassle-free and as worry-free as possible. Official tour operator, that is a title we hold, and we hold it very prestigiously, as we are the official tour operator for Amtrak. We're the only ones that can hold the Amtrak name and use the Amtrak logo and the Amtrak likeness. We're the only ones, and we work hand in hand with Amtrak to bring these packages to life. So even if you went to Amtrak's website, amtrak.com, and you saw the vacation packages on their website, that would actually direct you towards our site, as we are the official tour operator for Amtrak for their vacation packages. City to city service. Now, this is one thing I absolutely love because I personally do not like long airport transfers. You know, sometimes you fly into a place and lo and behold, the drive is up to an hour-long drive to get you to where you need to be. Well, with Amtrak, there's no need for it, as we typically go from downtown to downtown, city center to city center, city center to city center, putting you right where you want to be right off the bat, so you can start your vacationing and your sightseeing off on the right foot. And lastly, something for everyone. It doesn't matter your age, who you're traveling with, if you're traveling solo, or if you're traveling with a spouse or a significant other, or if you're traveling with a family. There is something for everyone on an Amtrak Vacations package. It really is one of the best parts about traveling by train. Now, I always love showing this map because it amazes me at how extensive Amtrak's system really is. In fact, Amtrak services 46 out of the 48 continental states here in the US, with the exceptions of South Dakota and Wyoming. And last year, Amtrak set their ridership record with over 32.5 million passengers. To put that into perspective, if Amtrak was an airline, Amtrak would have been the 6th most flown airline in the world. Definitely goes to show you that rail travel is in demand, and there's no time now for you to experience it firsthand. Now, you might ask, Nick, where do these vacation packages start? Well, luckily for you, these vacation packages can start at any of the 500 Amtrak stations throughout the United States and Canada. There's over 500 stations, and you can start and or end any of these vacation packages at any of your local stations. They're completely customizable like that. Now, keep in mind, customization is key for everything that we have to offer with Amtrak Vacations, as all of our itineraries do have the ability to be customized and tailor-made to your liking. Perhaps you see one of our itineraries, but you might want to modify it. Maybe you want to add nights or remove nights, add a destination or remove a destination. Maybe you want to do a trip in reverse or do a portion of a package. Maybe you want to combine multiple itineraries into one vacation package, or maybe you have a dream trip in mind that we might not necessarily offer. Well, keep it in mind that everything we offer has the ability to be customized and tailor-made to your liking. That way you can take the dream trip by train that you've always wanted to take. So let's hop right to some of the best information about what life is like actually on board an Amtrak train. And the first thing I'm going to go over is packing for the train, because Amtrak has by far the most generous luggage policy in all of the travel industry. In fact, each passenger on Amtrak is allowed 2 pieces of carry-on luggage, up to 50 pounds each bag, 2 pieces of check-in luggage, up to 50 pounds each bag, as well as the personal items, figure along the lines of a backpack, briefcase, pocketbook, purse, or even a small duffel bag. And the beauty of it is it can be checked in all up to 45 minutes prior to your departure. So it's not like the airlines where you have to be there hours and hours and hours in advance. 45 minutes is all you need. It's really as hassle-free and as rush-free as possible. Now, throughout the presentation, you're going to hear me to discuss coach seating and sleepers and upgrading, but what exactly does all of that mean? So let's hop right into that. And the first thing we're going to go over is coach accommodation. So as you can see, it's a pretty standard seat on board the train, but take what you know about airplane seats and picture the exact opposite, because coach seats on Amtrak are actually comfortable. The seats themselves are typically double the size of your standard airplane seat. They recline at a 45-degree angle, and they also have a leg rest as well. And the legroom is uncomparable. In fact, last year I traveled with one of my colleagues who's 6'6". He could fully stretch his legs out and still have room to spare. Good luck finding that on the airlines, and if you do, you're paying quite the premium on that. This is all standard on board Amtrak. Now, coach seating is great. However, meals are not included, and neither is shower access. If we're doing a night or more on board the train, we're probably going to want to eat. We're probably going to want to take a shower. So where do we go from there? So we upgrade to the roomettes. The roomettes are by far the most popular type of sleeping accommodation on board the train. During the day, it's 2 big seats that face each other with a big picture window in between and a fold-out table in between. At night, the 2 seats convert to the lower bed, and right above where this lady's head is, the top bed will pull down. Now, with the roomettes, you absolutely get all your meals included. However, the bathrooms and showers are located down the hall. And yes, they are private but shared. So what exactly does that mean? It means, yes, you will be sharing them with the rest of the people that have roomette accommodations in the same car, but they're private. Once you're in there, you're in there. There's a lock on the door. It's not like a college dormitory where people are coming in and out. And the neat thing is it's a full-size bathroom with a full-size shower. Now, you might say, Nick, this sounds fantastic, but is there a way I can get my own bathroom in room? And the correct answer is yes, we can upgrade you to the bedrooms. The bedrooms are a little bit bigger than the roomettes, and it's a bit of a different layout. So during the day, it's more of a sofa-style seating, like where that lady is sitting, with an extra captain's chair as well, like where that gentleman is sitting. At night, that sofa-style seating converts to the lower bed, and right above where this lady's head is, the top bed will pull down, much like the roomettes. Now, the main differential between the bedrooms and the roomettes is that the bedrooms do have a private toilet, sink, and shower in room for your use and your use only when you have the bedroom accommodations. And no matter what accommodations that you have on board Amtrak, you have the ability and the freedom to get out of your seat and freely move amongst the train. It's not like the airlines where you're cooped up in your seat for hours on end, or in a motor coach where you can't get up and move around at all. With Amtrak, you're encouraged to freely move amongst the train. Get up, visit the dining car, visit the cafe car, or visit my personal favorite, the observation car. The observation car really is the premier spot to be on an Amtrak train. It's the best spot to see all those different landscapes that can only be seen from an Amtrak train. It has floor-to-ceiling windows with a glass dome top, and the seats actually face outwards towards the windows. I can tell you, every single time I have ever been on Amtrak, other than to eat, sleep, and shower, I do not leave the observation car at all, because it truly is the best spot to be on an Amtrak train. Now, directly below the observation car, we have the lounge car, otherwise known as the cafe car. It's a really great spot as well that offers tons of ample amounts of booth seating and seats down there, additional seating. But down in the cafe car and lounge car as well is where you can actually pick up some food and drinks. They do offer snacks such as bags of chips, peanuts, candy. They also have sandwiches, slices of pizza, hamburgers, hot dogs. But you can also get yourself a soda, a beer, a glass of wine, or even a cocktail. So you can definitely get some of those to enjoy some snacks or get some lighter fare or even get a drink along the way. One of my favorite things to do is go down when I get onto the train. I go down to the cafe car. I get myself a glass of red wine. I bring that glass of red wine up to the observation car. I put on my headphones and I sip my wine and watch the country pass before my eyes. It really is one of the best experiences one can have on an Amtrak train. And it's all amazing because you can see the country from the window of a train. It really is the best way to see all the different landscapes we have here in the United States. If you think about it, we're really lucky as we have every type of landscape imaginable. We have the big cities, the mountains, the beaches and coastlines, the deserts and swamplands, the prairies and plains, the rainforests and evergreen forests, small town America, and every single last bit of it can be seen from the comfort of an Amtrak train. It truly is the best way to see our national landscapes. And no matter what type of sleeping accommodation you upgrade to, you have your meals included. Now, take what you know about airplane food and picture the opposite, because the food on Amtrak is absolutely delicious, and you'd be amazed at the quality of meals that are served on board the train. Take, for instance, for breakfast, there's pancakes or waffles, bacon and eggs, omelets. For lunch, there's juicy cheeseburgers, grilled chicken salads, pasta dishes. For dinner, there's fish, there's chicken, and of course there's Amtrak's main dish, which you can see right on your screen, the Amtrak signature steak, which I can tell you firsthand, I've had that countless amounts of times. I absolutely love it, and I know you all will too. And the whole process with dining on board the train is really nice. As soon as you board the train, the dining car attendant will come by, set up reservation times for you to eat your meals. When it's time to eat, you head down to the dining car, take a seat in one of these big comfortable booths with a white linen tablecloth layout, and you get to order off a menu and from a server like you would at a restaurant. So really, if you think about it, Amtrak isn't just for transportation. It's really a hotel, a restaurant, and sightseeing all rolled up into one amazing experience on board the rails. It's very, very exciting. So with all that said, everybody, all aboard, and let's hop into some of our top itineraries that really utilize and really show how great some of Amtrak's most scenic and iconic routes are. And the first one we're going to go over is our Grand National Parks Discovery on the California Zephyr. This trip was brand spanking new for 2019. It is by far one of our top itineraries that we have to offer, as you all will be able to visit 8 different national parks on one amazing trip. So this trip starts off in Denver, Colorado, right where we want to be in the Mile High City. While we're in Denver, we'll do 2 nights in a downtown Denver hotel, and while we're there, we're going to have a full-day guided sightseeing tour to Rocky Mountain National Park. Now, this is by far one of the most comprehensive tours that one can take of Rocky Mountain National Park, and you all will get the full experience of what Rocky Mountain National Park is all about. After our 2 nights in Denver are all said and done, we're going to hop aboard Amtrak's California Zephyr train, and we're going to do a couple-hour-long train from Denver, Colorado to Grand Junction, Colorado, where we'll arrive a few days later. When we get into Grand Junction, we'll do 1 night in a centrally located lodge in Grand Junction, Colorado. And then the next day, you're going to be picked up by a private SUV transfer. Now, this is going to transfer you from Grand Junction, Colorado, down to Springdale, Utah. And while you're en route from Grand Junction to Springdale, Utah, you're going to visit both Arches and Canyonlands National Parks and get to see what the 2 of those national parks have to offer. Once we reach Springdale, Utah, we're going to do 2 nights in a centrally located lodge in Springdale. And on our full day while we're in Springdale, Utah, we're going to have a full-day guided sightseeing tour of Zion National Park, one of the most visited national parks here in the United States. After our fun in Springdale is all said and done, and after we have visited Zion, we're going to take that private SUV transfer once again from Springdale, Utah, back to Grand Junction, Colorado. And this time en route, we're going to stop off and visit both Capitol Reef and Bryce Canyon National Parks and get to experience the best of those two parks as well. Once we reach Grand Junction, Colorado, we'll do one night in Grand Junction, one more night at one of the lodges. And then the next afternoon, we're going to hop aboard the Amtrak California Zephyr, do a couple-hour-long train from Grand Junction, Colorado, to Salt Lake City, Utah, where we arrive later that evening. When we get into Salt Lake City, we'll do one night in a downtown Salt Lake City hotel. And then the next morning, you're going to hop on board the Salt Lake Express, which is a motor coach transfer, which will take you from Salt Lake City, Utah, up to West Yellowstone, Montana. When we get up to West Yellowstone, Montana, we will do 2 nights in a centrally located lodge in West Yellowstone. And while we're up there, we're going to have a full-day guided tour of Yellowstone National Park's lower loop. Now, I can tell you firsthand, I just did this tour myself back in October of last year, and it was a wonderful experience. The amount of wildlife and the amount of sights to be seen on this tour was tremendous. For sights, for example, while I was on this tour, you get to visit Artist Point at the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone. You get to visit the Painted Pots, Grand Prismatic Springs. In fact, it's guaranteed on this tour that you will get to see Old Faithful Geyser erupt. And for wildlife on this tour, I saw some really amazing animals. I saw probably over 100 bison. I saw endless amounts of elk. I saw bald eagles. I saw coyotes. But the real highlight for me was I saw a pack of wild gray wolves. And those things were gigantic, and it was so neat to see them wild in their natural habitat. After our fun in Yellowstone is all said and done, we're going to hop back on board that Salt Lake Express motor coach transfer, and that's going to take us from Yellowstone back down to Salt Lake City. When we reach Salt Lake City, we're going to catch an evening train, an overnight train from Salt Lake City, Utah to San Francisco, where we arrive the following afternoon. When we get into San Francisco, California, we're going to do 2 nights in a downtown San Francisco hotel. And while we're in San Francisco, we're going to get a full-day guided motor coach tour of Yosemite National Park. Now, you won't have to worry about getting yourselves to and from the park. The tour will pick you up, drive you out to Yosemite, and you'll get a full-day comprehensive tour of Yosemite Park and the Yosemite Valley. This package right here is 13 days, 12 nights, and within that 13 days, 12 nights, we visit 8 different national parks. We visit Rocky Mountain National Park. We visit Arches, Canyonlands, Zion, Bryce Canyon, Capitol Reef, Yellowstone, and Yosemite. This package is 11 nights hotel and 1 night on board the train. And yes, that 1 night on the train is in coach accommodations, but we can absolutely upgrade you to the sleepers, where you'll get a private room with beds, shower access, and meals on the train included. Now let's move south and visit one of our most popular national parks that we offer. In fact, it's our most popular year-round national park, and it's one of the most visited national parks here in the United States. That's right, we're talking about the Grand Canyon, one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. It's absolutely gorgeous. And this is one of our most popular itineraries for the Grand Canyon. It is our Rails to the Grand Canyon package. Now, this package is ideal if you are coming from the West Coast, or maybe you're going to be out in California and you want to really enhance your already existing vacation. You can add this on for a couple of nights and get to experience the best the Grand Canyon has to offer. So this trip starts off in Los Angeles, where we hop on board the Southwest Chief in the evening time. And we do the overnight train from Los Angeles to Williams, Arizona, where we arrive the following morning. When we arrive into Williams, you'll have breakfast at the Grand Depot Cafe, which is the restaurant at the hotel, and that is included in the package. After breakfast, we're going to hop on board the Grand Canyon Railway, which is the antique steam train that will take you from Williams, Arizona up to the south rim of the Grand Canyon. I love it because it adds another train experience to your train vacations. Not only do you get the Amtrak experience, but you also get that classic antique steam train experience as well. And there's a reason why this train has been in existence for over 110 years. It actually passes through the largest ponderosa forest that the state of Arizona has to offer. Once we get up to the South Rim, we are then met by a motor coach for a guided tour of the Grand Canyon South Rim that really highlights all the key sites up at the Grand Canyon South Rim. And then we spend 2 nights up in one of the lodges in the Grand Canyon Village. So we spend 2 nights up in one of those lodges right up at the South Rim. After our 2 nights in the South Rim are all said and done, we are then going to hop on board the Grand Canyon Railway once again, We'll take that from the South Rim back down to Williams. And when we get back down to Williams, we will then switch right over to the Amtrak Southwest Chief, and we will do the overnight train back to Los Angeles. So this trip right here is 5 days, 4 nights. This package includes round trip on board the Grand Canyon Railway. It includes the Grand Canyon Freedom Tour of the South Rim. It also includes round trip Amtrak and coach accommodations for the 2 nights on board the train. And yes, once again, you can upgrade to the sleepers, where you'll get a private room with beds, shower access, and meals on the train included once again. Now, as I mentioned, this trip is ideal if you are coming from the West Coast. But what if you're coming from east of Arizona? Well, keep in mind, folks, we got our Grand Canyon Getaway round trip from Chicago. Now, you'll notice that a lot of these trips do start and end in Chicago, and the reason for that is simply because Chicago is Amtrak's hub station. But as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, any one of our packages can start and or end at any of your local stations. So this trip, for example, we do the overnight train from Chicago to Williams, Arizona on board the Southwest Chief. When we arrive into Williams, Arizona, we'll do 1 night at the Grand Canyon Railway Hotel. The next morning, you'll hop on board the Grand Canyon Railway and take that from Williams up to the South Rim of the Grand Canyon. Once we get to the South Rim, we'll have that guided motor coach tour of the South Rim once again, and then we'll spend 1 night up in one of the lodges in the Grand Canyon Village. After our night in the South Rim is all said and done, we are then going to hop on board the Grand Canyon Railway once again, take that back down to Williams, and when we get back down to Williams, we're going to do 1 more night at the Grand Canyon Railway Hotel. The next morning, you'll hop back on board the Amtrak Southwest Chief and do the overnight train back to Chicago. This package is not 10 days, 5 nights. It's 6 days, 5 nights. And you do 3 nights hotel. You get round trip service and coach accommodations on the Grand Canyon Railway, along with the Motor Coach Freedom Tour once again. And you do get 2 nights on board the train. And yes, the 2 nights on the train are in coach seating. Once again, folks, we can upgrade that to the sleepers. Now, I'm very excited to highlight these next 2 trips for you, as they are 2 of our most popular trips for the national parks of all time. The first we're going to highlight is Yellowstone to Yosemite by rail. This trip is fantastic. You get to visit 2 iconic national parks, and you get to utilize one of Amtrak's most scenic route and do that train in its entirety. So this trip starts off with 2 nights in Chicago, right where we want to be in the Windy City. And while we're in Chicago, we're going to have the hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour, which will take you around the city of Chicago on a big loop. And you can get off and on as you please at all the different sites and attractions that Chicago has to offer. After our fun in Chicago is all said and done, we are then going to hop on board the Amtrak California Zephyr and do the overnight train from Chicago to Salt Lake City, Utah, where we arrive the following evening. When we get into Salt Lake City, we're going to do 2 nights in a downtown Salt Lake City hotel. And while we're in Salt Lake City, we're going to have a guided city tour of Salt Lake City, as well as we get dinner included at the Roof restaurant. I can tell you, I ate at the Roof back when I went on my trip, and it was absolutely tremendous. The restaurant was fantastic. It offers some really breathtaking views of the famous Temple Square and of the city of Salt Lake City, and it's a really nice buffet-style dinner. After our 2 nights in Salt Lake City are all said and done, we are then going to hop on board the Salt Lake Express motor coach, and that's going to take us from Salt Lake City, Utah to West Yellowstone once again, where we'll do 2 nights up in West Yellowstone, and we'll once again get that lower loop tour of Yellowstone National Park. After our fun in Yellowstone is all said and done, we'll then take the Salt Lake Express back down to Salt Lake City, where we then catch an evening train and an overnight train on the California Zephyr, where we arrive the following afternoon into San Francisco. When we get into San Francisco, we'll do 2 nights in a downtown San Francisco hotel. And while we're there, once again, we get a full-day guided sightseeing tour of Yosemite National Park. This trip is 11 days, 10 nights. We get one-way Amtrak and coach accommodations from Chicago to Salt Lake City, and then the overnights from Salt Lake City to San Francisco. This package does include guided sightseeing tours so you get the hop-on, hop-off tour of Chicago, you get the guided sightseeing tour of Salt Lake City, you get the lower loop tour of Yellowstone, and you get the day tour of Yosemite National Park out of San Francisco. 8 nights hotel, 2 nights on board the train, and yes, once again, the 2 nights on the train are in coach accommodations, which we can always upgrade to the sleepers. And of course, one of our most popular itineraries of all time. In fact, this has been one of our most popular trips for the past 7 years. This is our Glacier National Park Express. This package is amazing. You get to visit 2 iconic cities, visit one of the most popular national parks that we have to offer, as well as utilize one of the most scenic routes that Amtrak has to offer as well. This trip starts off with 2 nights in Chicago, right where we want to be in the Windy City once again. While we're in Chicago, we're going to have the Shoreline Sightseeing Architecture Cruise, which is the boat ride that'll bring you down the river in Chicago, and it highlights a lot of the famous buildings and skyscrapers. In fact, Chicago is the birthplace of the modern skyscraper, and this tour highlights all of those famous buildings. After our 2 nights in Chicago is all said and done, we're then going to hop aboard the Amtrak Empire Builder, the most northern route on board the train, and we're going to do an overnight journey from Chicago to Glacier National Park, where we arrive the following evening. When we get into Glacier Park, we're going to do 3 nights at the Glacier Park Lodge, which is the oldest of the Great Northern Railway hotels. It's one majestic property up in Glacier Park, so we're going to do 3 nights there. And while we're in Glacier Park, we're going to get 2 tours. The first tour is the Two Medicine Valley Boat Cruise, which is a boat ride on Two Medicine Lake, situated in the Two Medicine Valley area of Glacier Park. Really beautiful area. It actually can be seen right on your screen. And then the second tour is the Big Sky Circle Tour. The Big Sky Circle Tour is the main tour of the park. It's a full-day tour that utilizes the Going to the Sun Road, which is the main road that runs right through the middle of Glacier Park. This is by far the most comprehensive tour that Glacier Park has to offer. After our 2 nights in Glacier, or 3 nights at Glacier Park are all said and done, we're then going to hop aboard the Empire Builder and do another overnight train from Glacier Park to Seattle, where we arrive the following morning. And when we get into Seattle, we're going to do 2 nights in a downtown Seattle hotel. And while we're in Seattle, we get a sightseeing city tour of Seattle, as well as we get admission to the Space Needle, as it can be seen right on your screen, as well as the Chihuly Garden and Glass Museum. This package is 10 days, 9 nights. We get the Shoreline Sightseeing Architecture Cruise while we're in Chicago. In Glacier Park, we get the Big Sky Circle Tour and the Two Medicine Valley Boat Cruise. And while we're in Seattle, we get a city tour, as well as we get admission to the Space Needle and the Chihuly Garden and Glass Museum. Overall, 7 nights hotel, 2 nights on board the train, and yes, those 2 nights on the train are in coach seating, which we can always upgrade once again. No matter which package or destination you're looking at, you can choose the hotels that work best for your needs. We work with hotels ranging from 3 to 5 stars. So if you're used to staying in particular types of hotels, just let us know, and we can definitely set you up into the hotels that you would like. And we're just getting started here, folks. The best way to see everything that we have to offer and all the packages and destinations is to pay a visit to our website at amtrakvacations.com. It'll bring you here to our main page. If you hover over where that red arrow is pointing, that will drop down, and you can navigate through by destination and see every single package and destination that we have to offer. While you're on our website as well, please feel free to visit the blog where this red arrow is pointing, where you can actually revisit all the previous presentations that we've done, like the ones we're listening to right now. Every week is a different topic and a different theme, so we cover a wide array of different packages and destinations. So if you want to revisit and learn a little bit more, now's your opportunity to do so. So you can please feel free to visit the blog. And while you're on our website as well, please feel free to visit the trip planning section. It's going to have a lot of useful information in there for you in regards to baggage, meals and dining, accessibility and special needs. And in fact, there's a really great section on there on board the train where you can actually get a first-hand experience of what it looks like and what life is like on board an Amtrak train. Now, keep in mind, we do have some really great everyday discounts as well. If you're traveling with any children ages 2 to 12, the kids get a 50% discount off the rail portion of an Amtrak Vacations package. If they're a senior traveler age 65 and over, you get a 10% discount off the rail portion of an Amtrak Vacations package. And lastly, if you're active duty military, you, your spouse, and your dependents get a 10% discount off the rail portion of a package, just as a thank you for your service. Now, how do you book with us? Well, you can give us a call at 1-800-268-7252. One of our amazing vacations consultants will be more than happy to help you plan your dream rail vacation. You can book through our website at amtrakvacations.com. You can book a lot of our getaway trips through there. Or what I always recommend, give a call or better yet, pay a visit to your local travel agent. They will be more than happy to assist you. I can tell you, I've been in the travel industry for almost 10 years now, and I still utilize my local travel agent to this day to book my own personal travel. They're one of the best resources out there. They have it out for your best interest. They find the best values, and they're there to help direct you and help you out every step of the way. Now, before we wrap it up for today, and before I answer all these great questions that have come through, don't forget to download the handout where that top arrow is pointing. A lot of useful information in there. There should be 3. As well as if you have any questions at all, now's the time to ask away, and I will be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. Now, keep in mind, everybody, we are in the midst of our fall into summer, our fall into savings sale. We just launched it today. If you're looking to take one of our vacation packages, if you upgrade 2 Roomette accommodations on board the package, you get $200 off per couple. Or if you upgrade 2 of the full bedrooms, you get $300 off per couple. This is an incredible promotion, but it's not going to be around for much longer, so just keep that in mind if you are looking to take one of our packages. It's a great way to save some money. Now, before I answer all of your questions, I have questions for all of you. Which rail vacation or destinations are you interested in, and when? Put those answers into the questions box, and I look forward to reading and seeing where you all are looking to travel to. Let's have some fun with this, folks. The first session was fantastic. They gave some really great answers. There we go. Hey, Susan's looking to do the Grand Canyon. That's fantastic. Let's see. Ronald wants to do a custom 21-day coast-to-coast trip. Yes. Paul wants to go to Jasper. Hey, I was in Jasper 2 years ago. It's beautiful up there. Jacqueline is looking to do Seattle, Vancouver, and Victoria. Actually, we have a really fantastic trip that does all 3 of those cities, most definitely. Mike is trying to do Portland, Oregon, and Seattle. Hey, that's Portland. That's really popular as well. Christopher wants to go round trip from Glacier from Chicago at some point, so we get tons of destinations. Louise is looking to go to the Grand Canyon in 2021. Charles is looking to do San Antonio in New Orleans, 2 of my favorite cities. I absolutely love those 2 cities. Shannon would love to do the Canadian Rockies, Banff to Vancouver. Those are fantastic, Shannon. I did them 2 years ago. Dean is looking to go on the 9-day Southwest trip from Chicago to the Grand Canyon. Excellent, excellent. These are fantastic options, folks. I absolutely love this. Keep them coming. Where else are you looking to go? Keep them coming. Let's see. So I think we're out of those. So let's take a look, see what type of questions everyone had for today before we wrap it up. So let me scroll all the way to the top. Just a moment. So I see a question here from Christopher. Should I expect on-off train trips to be on the same train? Not necessarily, unless you utilize the same route. You might be taking different routes as you go throughout the United States on the train. So yeah, you could definitely have the ability to change trains. I have another question here from Christopher. Is there a train guides in the observation lounge to point out things I might miss? No, so there isn't. But however, Amtrak does have the route guides and all their long distance routes, so they are a really great little like pamphlet and book that kind of highlights what you're passing through and at what times and the cities and towns that you're passing through and where the train stops. It's really great. I always keep it on hand when I'm on the train because I always like to know the history and what I'm passing through and all that fun stuff. Robert, do you have to transfer to buses between train stops? Not really. No, you don't have to. You don't transfer the buses. If you're talking about getting from the train to your hotel, that you would be responsible for. But usually, most people will take a taxi or an Uber or a Lyft in that situation. Christopher, are there laundry services on multi-day tours? It's not included, but a lot of the hotels we do work with do have laundry there. So if you are taking, say, like a 2-week-long trip and you want to do some laundry, by all means, you can do that at your hotels as long as the hotel offers it. Let's see. Robert, is there an iconic train trip that you spend the entire time on the train to include overnight on the train and not have to transfer to bus or SUV? Not really. I mean, a lot of the packages you're definitely going to have to do a stopover at some point, whether it be in a hotel for a night or so. But you can absolutely. But yeah, you would have to. There isn't really any trips that you just stay on the train as long as possible, unfortunately. Gene, are transfers to the hotel covered? Nope. Typically, you are responsible for that on your own. Like I said, usually a taxi or an Uber or a Lyft will get you to the train station, a hotel, and vice versa. Sometimes the hotels we do work with do run a complimentary shuttle service, depending on the location in the hotel. And sometimes the hotels are even walking distance. So it really all depends on the destination and where you are looking. Christopher, what is the average upgrade price per tour? Honestly, it can vary because the thing is, the pricing on Amtrak is all based upon availability. So the pricing from the upgrades can truly vary. Jerry, do you have vegan food options on Amtrak trains? Yes. Vegetarian, vegan, and kosher diets are three diets Amtrak 100% will make sure of. Say if you do have like a food allergy, or if you have like a gluten intolerance or anything of the sorts like that, just let us know, as well as let your server know on board the train. So they can do their best, just like you would at a restaurant. So they can do their best to help you out with your to help with your dietary restrictions. Gene, the Empire Builder is awesome. Jody, is it group travel where you'd be traveling with the same people throughout your trip? No, it is not. These are all fully independent trips. These are not escorted tours at all. We do not do escorted tours. They're all independent. Let's see. Shannon, I missed the first 5 minutes of the presentation. Is Rocky Mountaineer part of the Amtrak family? No, they are a private company up in Canada. We do not offer Rocky Mountaineer. Carolyn, do guest rewards points count towards travel? No, they do not. You can give us your number and you can accumulate the points. It's just you would get no. We can't use the points, unfortunately. Dina, how does it work if you want to spend an extra night somewhere? I'm guessing you have to plan the extra nights or stops in advance. Yes, you would just want to let us know so we can add it to your itinerary and customize it to the way you like. James, what is the best accommodation for a married senior couple? Do you have a tour that includes Oregon after Glacier National Park? Most definitely. You can add on Oregon. In fact, there's a direct train from Glacier Park to Portland. You can add that on to your itinerary. Most definitely. Gene, why do the fares say from? Do the fares change a lot? I mean, the prices fluctuate depending on the season and availability. So that's the thing with Amtrak. It's all based upon availability, and of course the prices change between seasons because there is, low, down seasons and peak travel seasons and things like that. Carolyn, can we use guest rewards points to pay for this again? Yeah, no, we cannot. Yemelet, do you offer any discounts for retired military or disabled vets? Unfortunately, there is nothing for retired military or veterans. I wish there was, but there currently isn't. Only active duty. If you are disabled, though, you do get a discount on board the train. So if you do have a disability, most definitely you can get a discount on board Amtrak. Shannon, Shannon, yes. That's all I can say. Yes. You'd want to call us for that. Let's see. Pat, what is the extra charge for solo travelers? Honestly, that can vary. The prices you saw picture, it's almost double, but not quite. So, but I can tell you about a quarter of our travelers do travel solo on our packages. And Yemlin, honestly, any of our packages can be picked up and started and or end in Texas. Most definitely, you can do that. Kate, the amount for the Roomette can vary for the upgrade. Honestly, it's all based upon availability. I'll give you guys a ballpark. I mean, the upgrade from coach to Roomette I've seen range from anywhere from say 150 a person to say $300, $400 a person. It can honestly vary. It's all based upon availability. Any other questions, folks? These have been some good ones so far. So it looks Oh, we have one more question. Gene, if we don't want extra days, how hard to change? It's not hard at all. You would just want to let us know ahead of time when you plan your vacation so we know what to plan for. Dina, what happens to the length of your visit stop somewhere if the train is delayed due to track work, for example? Well, you would know ahead of time or something like that, but you would want to work. We would work with you to help plan, fix up your trip if there's any train disruption or anything like that, anything that went wrong. We can try to work with you to sort that out. Angie, do we have California coast trips? Yes, we sure do. We have tons of trips through California, really popular. I mean, we got packages that do San Diego, Los Angeles, Paso Robles, Santa Barbara. We have packages to San Francisco, Napa Valley, Yosemite. So we have quite a few. So it looks like we are out of questions for today. So I want to just take the opportunity just to say thank you for you all for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking time to learn a little bit about what we got going on. We do these presentations literally every 2 weeks, but luckily for you, we're doing one a week from today on the 11th of September, and it's going to be part 2 of the famous and iconic Routes on Amtrak series. So hopefully you can join us on that. Keep your eyes peeled to your emails for that registration link. In the meantime, keep it in mind, folks, we got that fall into savings sale that started up today. You won't want to miss out on that. $200 off per couple for upgrades to Roomettes on our packages, or $300 off per couple when you upgrade to bedrooms. And that's only good till next Friday the 13th. So keep that in mind. Until next time, everyone, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you all have a great rest of your week. And until next time, everyone, I hope you all take care. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care and bye-bye.